Hello, my name is Ahmed and this is the Clinical Research Fellows Club. Today we'll be discussing how to best memorize FIGO 2018 Cervical Cancer Staging Classification. I know it can be quite daunting and confusing to memorize staging systems for different cancers. However, in this video, I'll share with you a simple way to help you memorize it through answering 4 simple questions and memorizing 2 magic numbers, and hopefully you'll find it much easier by the end of the video. So, you start with question 1. Is there any distant spread or extension to bladder or rectal mucosa? There you find your first checkpoint. If the answer is yes, you're looking at stage 4 disease. And it's either stage 4A, meaning spread to adjacent pelvic organs like the bladder or rectal mucosa, confirmed by biopsy, or it's stage 4B, meaning distant metastases such as mets in the lungs, the livers, etc. If the answer is no, move on to the next question. Question 2. Are there positive pelvic or periaortic lymph nodes? This is your second filter. The 2018 revision made lymph node involvement a game changer. If nodes are positive, you're in stage 3C territory regardless of tumor size or local extent. And this includes 2 substages, stage 3C1, which means spread to pelvic lymph nodes only, and stage 3C2, which means periaortic nodes are involved. And don't forget to add the notations R or P. R stands for radiological or imaging-based staging, whilst P stands for pathologically confirmed. For example, if a PET-CT scan shows positive lymph nodes, you'd write stage 3C1R. If there is no spread to lymph nodes, then move on to the next question. Question 3. Is the pelvic sidewall involved? Well, this one's quite straightforward. Extension to pelvic sidewall automatically puts your patient at stage 3B. Another key detail here is hydronephrosis or a non-functioning kidney. Either of them also qualify as stage 3B. In the context of gynecological cancers, these 2 features are quite pathognomonic for cervical cancer, so keep them on your mind. Now, if pelvic sidewall is not involved, let's move on to the last question. Question 4. What about vaginal and parametrial involvement? Now, this bit is quite nuanced, so stay with me on that. You start with asking about the lower third of the vagina, whether it's involved or not. If it's involved, then it's stage 3A. If the lower third of the vagina is spared, ask about the upper 2/3 of the vagina and the perimetrium. Here's the key. Parametrial invasion trumps upper vaginal involvement, so if the perimetrium is invaded regardless of upper vaginal involvement, it's stage 2B. But if only the upper 2/3 of the vagina is involved, without perimetrial invasion, it's stage 2A. And within stage 2A, you can further substage according to the tumor size, but hold that thought for a minute, we'll come to it later. Now, we reached the last bit. What if you've answered no to all 4 questions? Well, that means that the tumor is confined to the cervix and you're in stage 1 territory. This is where our 2 magic numbers come into play. So, there are 2 features that you need to look at in stage 1. First feature of interest is depth of invasion, where you meet your first magic number, which is 35. Think 3 and 5 mm for stage 1A, which is microinvasive disease. If the depth of invasion is less than 3 mm, then it's stage 1A1. If it's between 3 and 5 mm, then it's stage 1A2. If the depth of invasion is more than 5 mm, that takes you out of stage 1A into stage 1B. Now, you'll move on to the second feature of interest in stage 1, which is the greatest tumor diameter, where you'll meet the second magic number, which is 24. Once you're in stage 1B, your focus shifts to tumor size, where 2 cm and 4 cm are your cutoff values. Stage 1B1 is when the greatest tumor dimension is less than 2 cm, stage 1B2 is when it's between 2 and 4 cm, and stage 1B3 is when it's more than 4 cm. That should be easy to remember. Just think 2 and 4 and you're sorted. One last thing to mention. Remember we said earlier that stage 2A, where only the upper 2/3 of the vagina is involved, is further substaged according to tumor size. The number 4 also applies here. So, tumors less than 4 cm are qualified as stage 2A1, whilst tumors greater than 4 cm are classified as stage 2A2. And there you have it. 4 questions, 2 numbers, and you've got the FIGO 2018 staging system for cervical cancer all sorted. I hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next videos.